What's up everyone, it's Ikra. Tonight we're turning off the lights and diving headfirst into the shadows of Pakistan. I'm not talking about political scandals or economic deep dives. No, tonight we're going darker. We're embarking on a chilling journey through the country's most terrifying real-life horror stories and bone-chilling urban legends. These aren't your typical campfire stories, whispered for a quick scare. These are not just tales. They're true stories and legends that have terrified generations, tales that have seeped into the very soil of the nation, leaving a stain that time can't wash away. From the bustling streets of Karachi to the remote peaks of Chitral, every corner holds a story that someone wishes they could forget. We're going to peel back the curtain, look at the evidence, and confront the kind of darkness that makes you check over your shoulder. I'm talking about serial killers who confessed in the most theatrical way possible, haunted cinemas where the screams never stopped, and ancient tombs where the dead don't rest. These stories reveal a side of Pakistan that's rarely shown, a tapestry woven with threads of tragedy, superstition, and unspeakable evil. So lock your doors, maybe grab a blanket, or don't, if you're brave. Because tonight we're exploring the tales that parents use to scare their children into behaving, the headlines that shocked a nation, and the whispers that linger in abandoned places long after everyone has gone. This is your final warning. If you're easily spooked, this might not be for you, but if you dare, stick with me till the very end. Let's get into it. Let's start in Lahore, 1999. The city is buzzing, but underneath the surface, a silent terror is preying on its most vulnerable street children. One by one, boys are disappearing off the streets, vanishing without a trace. The police are stumped, parents are desperate, and a cloud of fear hangs over the city. Then, out of nowhere, a man named Javed Iqbal walks into the office of a major newspaper. He doesn't just confess, he delivers a detailed, multi-page letter and a diary, meticulously documenting the murder of 100 boys. He wasn't just a killer, he was a self-proclaimed monster who wanted the world to know exactly what he did. Iqbal's methods were the stuff of nightmares. He would lure these kids, often runaways or orphans, with the promise of a meal, a safe place to sleep, the very things they craved most. Once they were in his grasp, he would murder them, and then in a final act of erasure dissolve their bodies in vats of hydrochloric acid. His confession letter didn't just list his crimes, it was a performance. He included photos of his victims and led the police to the evidence, 2 large blue drums filled with the dissolved remains of his last victims. The motive? He claimed it was revenge against the police for a past injustice. He wanted to inflict upon 100 mothers the same pain his own mother felt when he was wronged. He was sentenced to death, not by hanging, but to be strangled and dismembered, just like his victims. But the final twist? He was found dead in his cell, an apparent suicide, taking the full truth of his monstrous spree to the grave. Now we travel to the remote, mountainous region of Kohistan in 2012. Imagine this, a grainy cell phone video emerges. It shows a group of young men and women at a wedding celebration. The men are dancing, and a group of 5 young women, Baziga, Shireen Cinema, Begum Jan, Amina, and Shaheen, are clapping and singing along, their faces filled with innocent joy. In most parts of the world, this is just a happy memory. In their conservative village, it was seen as a stain on the community's honor. The video went viral, and a local jirga, a tribal council, allegedly issued a death sentence for the 5 girls and the 2 boys who were dancing. This is where the story gets murky and spirals into a decade-long nightmare. The families insisted the girls were alive. Activists and the Supreme Court got involved, demanding proof. Officials were sent to the village where they were presented with girls who they claimed were the ones from the video, but many believed they were imposters. The brother of the boys in the video, Afzal Kohistani, became a relentless crusader for justice, insisting the girls were murdered. For years he fought the system, faced death threats, and brought the case to the national spotlight. In 2019, after years of fighting, Afzal himself was shot and killed in Abbottabad. Only then did the case gain new momentum, leading to arrests and the eventual confession that at least 3 of the girls had indeed been murdered years ago. It's a story that's not just about a video, it's about the brutal reality of honor, the failures of justice, and how a few moments of youthful happiness could lead to so much death and deception. Karachi, September 11, 2012. A date already infamous, but in Pakistan, it marks one of the worst industrial disasters in its history. At the Ali Enterprises garment factory in Baldia Town, Hundreds of workers are finishing their shifts, sewing clothes for export to the west. Suddenly, a fire breaks out, panic ensues, but as workers rush to escape, they find their path blocked. The emergency exits are locked, the windows are barred, the main gate is allegedly shut. The factory becomes a death trap, a multi-story tomb of smoke and fire. Over 260 people, men, women, some just teenagers, perished, either burned alive or suffocated by the toxic fumes. At first it was reported as a tragic accident, faulty wiring, poor safety standards. A horrific but sadly common story in the developing world. But the narrative took a sinister turn. Whispers turned into official investigations. A report emerged claiming this wasn't an accident at all, it was arson. The factory owners had allegedly refused to pay a massive extortion demand, bada, to a powerful political party. When they didn't pay up, the factory was set ablaze as a message. The locked doors weren't just a safety violation, they were a deliberate act to ensure maximum damage. The story transformed from a tragedy of negligence into a chilling tale of organized crime and urban terror, where the lives of 260 workers were treated as collateral damage in a turf war. Let's stay in Karachi but move from true crime to urban legend. Every city has its haunted places, and for Karachi, one of the most famous is the now abandoned Shireen Cinema. In its heyday, it was a bustling hub of entertainment, a place where people escaped into the magic of movies, but according to local lore, it became the stage for a real-life horror story. The legend says that a woman was brutally assaulted and murdered within its walls. Her spirit, filled with rage and sorrow, never left. The cinema became her eternal prison, and she made sure no one else could find peace there either. After the tragedy, things started to change. Staff and late-night moviegoers began reporting things they couldn't explain. The sound of a woman weeping would echo through the empty halls after the last show. Blood-curdling screams would erupt from vacant projection rooms. Lights would flicker and die for no reason, and heavy seats would slam down in empty rows. Shadows would dart across the screen when no one was there. The paranormal activity became so intense, so relentless, that the cinema's business dwindled. No one wanted to buy a ticket to a movie and get a real ghost story as a bonus. Eventually, Shireen Cinema closed its doors for good. Today it stands as a decaying monument, its peeling posters and silent halls a testament to the chilling legend that haunts it. Locals say if you stand outside on a quiet night you can still hear her crying. We leave the suffocating confines of the city and head north, to the majestic, sprawling mountains of Chitral and Gilgit-Baltistan. These are some of the most beautiful, pristine landscapes on Earth. But for the people who live here, the beauty is accompanied by an ancient, unsettling presence. They talk about the Shadow People. These aren't ghosts in the traditional sense. They are tall, dark, humanoid figures seen on desolate mountain ridges, often at twilight or dawn. They are described as being made of pure shadow, featureless and silent, just standing and watching. They appear for a moment and then vanish into the thin mountain air. Locals have different names and beliefs for them. Some say they are jinns, the supernatural beings from Islamic folklore that occupy a world parallel to our own. Others believe they are ancient mountain spirits, guardians of the peaks who are wary of human intrusion. They are not known to be aggressive, but their presence is deeply unnerving. The stories are always the same: a shepherd alone with his flock, a traveler on a remote path, or even someone looking out their window at night will see a tall, dark silhouette standing where no person should be. There's a profound sense of being observed, of being an intruder in a world that doesn't belong to you. These tales remind us that in the vast, empty spaces of the world, we may not be as alone as we think. Now let's talk about real estate, but not just any property. We're going to Islamabad, Pakistan's pristine, planned capital city. In the upscale sector F6, there's a house that no one wants to live in. On the outside, it looks like any other wealthy residence. On the inside, it's a paranormal hotspot. The legend goes that the house was built on cursed land, possibly an ancient burial ground, and whatever was disturbed during its construction is not happy about it. Every family that has tried to live there has fled in terror, each with a similar horrifying story to tell. The tales are classic poltergeist activity but on steroids. Objects flying across rooms, doors slamming shut with violent force, disembodied whispers in the dead of night. Tenants report seeing shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds, only to vanish when the lights are turned on. Many have spoken of a pervasive feeling of dread that settles over you the moment you step inside, a heavy, oppressive energy that drains you. Some have even reported sudden, unexplained illnesses that only disappear once they move out. The house has been rented, sold, and abandoned so many times that it has become infamous. It's a chilling reminder that even in the most modern, orderly cities, there can be pockets of darkness that defy all logic and explanation. For our final stop, we return to the outskirts of Karachi, to a place where history and the supernatural collide, the Chowkhandi tombs. This is an ancient Islamic cemetery, dating back to the 15th century. The tombs themselves are architectural marvels, intricately carved sandstone monuments that are unique to the Sindh region. During the day, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a place of historical significance. But when the sun goes down, it transforms. According to local legend and paranormal investigators, Chowkhandi is one of the most haunted places in Pakistan. The belief is that the souls of the powerful tribal leaders and warriors buried here are not at peace. Locals and the few brave enough to visit after dark have reported a terrifying array of paranormal phenomena. They speak of an overwhelming sense of being watched from the moment they enter the grounds. Many have heard the sounds of phantom footsteps crunching on the gravel behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. Eerie whispers in an unknown language are said to ride the night wind, and some have even claimed to see full-bodied apparitions walking among the tombs before vanishing. The energy of the place is said to be so heavy and menacing that most locals refuse to even go near it after sunset, believing that the spirits of Chowkhandi guard their resting place with a vengeance. And there you have it. From the calculated evil of a serial killer to the vengeful spirits of an ancient cemetery, Pakistan's landscape is filled with stories that chill you to the bone. We've journeyed through real-life tragedies that are more horrifying than any fiction, and walked through urban legends that have stood the test of time. These tales are more than just entertainment, they are a part of the cultural fabric, reflecting the deepest fears and darkest truths of a society. They remind us that horror isn't always a monster under the bed, sometimes it's a headline in the newspaper, an injustice that goes unpunished, or a presence in a room that you can feel but can't see. Some stories are best left in the dark. They serve as warnings, as cautionary tales, and as a reminder that there are forces in this world, both human and perhaps otherwise, that are truly terrifying. The question is, which of these stories will linger with you after the screen goes dark? Which one crawled under your skin and decided to stay? Which one haunted you the most? Let us know in the comments below. I genuinely want to know what you guys think. If you made it this far and want to dive into more chilling tales from around the world, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who you think is brave enough to handle it. Your support means everything and allows me to keep digging into these dark corners of the world. Stay safe, check your locks, and until next time, try not to think about what's in the shadows.